Hey, what's going on out there, YouTube family? This is Samuel Legger here representing Team JVS. I'm back here again for another movie review. Now, this film is actually up for an international Oscar, and it was provided to me by Well USA. And I appreciate them for allowing me to be able to screen this film, even though it came out, I believe, in 2019. And I'm just going to go really quick over this. The synopsis reads: a bully teenage girl forms a unlikely friendship with a mysterious young man who protects her from her assailants. That's all I had from this. But the movie I'm talking about is called Better Days. Better Days is directed by Derek Sang. He and the screenplay writer Wing Sung Lam. They also did the movie Soulmate that has been critically acclaimed from my understanding. I have yet to actually see it, but I am very intrigued to see it because now after seeing this film, I can't not, because this was excellently directed, crafted, scoped out, and I'm just going to gush about this film. I'll tell you right off the bat. Normally, I don't do this. Normally, I just kind of give you everything, all the spiel and everything. I'm giving this film a 9 out of 10. Period. Like, from the cast in their acting capability, from the script, from the seriousness of the actual situation, which is circling around the concept of what's going on in Asia when it comes to bullying, and of course across the world, and the severity of it. And between 2012 and to even right now, the casualties and the loss of children and emotions and all the different things, like all of this in one welled up film that also has at its core this bond, this really pure expression of emotion that I haven't seen in a very, very long time. So let's go ahead and talk about the things really quick. Just want to get out as far as the way that the scope of, I think some shots in this were actually very well captured and executed, from just the way that they kind of progressed the characters along from what situations they were in. So you got two main characters. You got Zhou and Chen. Zhou is kind of like this kind of like punk on the streets, like he's kind of getting into stuff. He's not in school whatsoever. And Chen is this girl that is just trying to get to college by any means necessary. And it's almost as though everything in her pathway is keeping her from that. Now, when these two actually do meet, it's under terrible circumstances. When I mean terrible, I'll even show you the quick moment because this is a non-spoiler review, but the circumstances on how they meet, this is give you a quick update with that. You got this situation for him and this situation for her. And it is throughout this film, they do not shy away from any kind of bully situation, whether it is a mugging, whether it is, sexual assault, whether it is attempted suicide, whether it is inflamed verbal bullying, physical bullying. Like they do not hold back any punches whatsoever. And this altercation just happened to be a situation where she was kind of walking around and she saw this happen, and she put in a situation as well after going through her own circumstances. But even just taking this alone, the way they actually filmed it and captured it, it allowed these actors to really go for it. And I'll gush about the actors in just a second, but I commend the director, Derek, in his execution for scenery and just spotting for each character. It allows them to be able to breathe. It allows you to be able to kind of feel immersed into the world that they're actually in. And even through their circumstances, like, again, this is surrounding bullying, where you still, and even in this shot, you have a focal point on this young girl, but you can see in the background that there's obviously something else going on. And this is throughout the film. There's a specific shot that in the opening, let's say like 10 minutes right here, that I knew that either one or three things were going to happen here. Either one, this was going to be a horror film or this is going to be a situation where this is going to be a psychological thriller kind of thing, or this is going to be a in-depth emotional dissection of what it's like for these individuals in this circumstance. And it's the latter. But the way that he filmed it and made it done, basically, you wouldn't know. You would have no idea. They're not going to be something science fiction, or this is going to be something horror, or this is going to be something completely different. And I love that. I love that about this film in particular. But let's go and just kind of break down one specific part of this that makes this one of my favorite films this year. And that's the actors. The actors throughout this film crush, and I mean crush it. So let's go off first on the character Chen. This is played by, I apologize for getting her name wrong. Intent. Dongyu Zhou plays the role of Chen. And again, I've kind of spoken on her situation where she's just trying to make it to college and she's being bullied and circumstances are just getting out of hand. Like, it is not getting any better. On top of that, she's dealing with a circumstance where she's kind of on her own and her mom's doing her own thing, and that's making it worse as well. But I must say this about this actress. Oh my gosh. The fact is, I looked it up after the fact, and I realized this is a 29-year-old woman. But you would not know that because either one, like, she, lost weight, or she focused on her mechanisms. She is completely devoted to this character. There's nothing about anything that happened in this film that led me to believe this isn't a 17 or 18 or 20-year-old person. I didn't know this is a 29 to almost 30-year-old woman. I had no idea. And like, her execution on cue, whether it is her anger, whether it is her frustration, or whether it is her loving devotion, whether it is like her emotional imbalance through the circumstances of just kind of being in this situation, her fear, like, every range of emotion, and on a dime, just tears. Like, I was kind of just captivated by how well she just nailed this character. Like, the character is not just a one-note character. It's not just through circumstance. Like, there's levels to her character. And I was really, truly captivated by it. And then this is the other thing about it, because the fact is, the character Zhao is even more multidimensional. I had no idea that on the other side of this, a character that's kind of like playing the gruff and the punk guy that, was like the protector slash the antagonist at moments, and you didn't know where he was going, which way he was lying, was younger. Like, he's only 20. I think probably when they filmed this, he had to have been 18 only. And like, bruh, he fills in the shoes so well. Like, I wouldn't have known this is not a grown man that was going through this circumstance. Like, the fact that they're just embody these characters so well, and their chemistry is just so on key. And not just that, every single moment where he was meant to feel malicious or like a threat or like emotionally disconnected, right? He would nail those scenes. But where he shined is where he's empathetic, where he is understanding, where he is devoted. Again, the movie surrounds devotion on so many different levels. And it kind of bleeds through with different relationships of other people, because there are other people in this film, but they are at the epicenter of every range of emotion. And again, his acting is on key, and her acting in connection with that is also equally on key. I cannot praise the levels of devotion to acting and chemistry and story enough. And this is the crazy thing. There's other actors. I haven't posted many other actors' pictures. There's a character named Zing, is played by Fang Zin. And he's kind of like working with law enforcement. And he's kind of put in this situation where, he's looking on the outside in, seeing like the bullying going on, seeing the circumstances going around surrounding everything, right? And by the end of it, he's completely like flipped upside down. You get a pure understanding of who he is, completely flipped out. And it's hard to do. Where normally it was be like, okay, you got like the punk, you got the girl, and she's trying to make it, he's trying to help, he's not trying to help, he's trying to hurt, vice versa. That's it. But it's deeper than that. Like there's so many, like by the end of this film, and I'm gonna post a picture really quick, just to kind of give you where the movie, to me, at this specific scene, at this specific moment, when I realized this movie is not, it's not playing games. This scene right here, like the circumstances that got to this moment and to this scene, and because of this scene, I was like, yo, this is one of my favorite films this year. Like I knew right then and there that this was next level, period. Again, the story is very visceral, it's very real, it's very in your face, it's very informative, it's very important. And I'm gonna put the suicide prevention notification in the description bar below. Anybody that is dealing with suicidal thoughts, but also in tandem and connection with bullying or circumstances where people are like putting you in a downward spiral state. This movie in and of itself, it specifically speaks to that. Matter of fact, in the last few minutes of this film really nailed that home in a specific way. So you don't want to let somebody else putting you in a circumstance or even your own emotions leading you down this spiral path that you cannot come back from. Life is too short, and this movie, it really does immerse you into that expression in a very specific way. But again, from the set designs, from the way that the execution of the story, from the acting, I truly do love this film. And I am caught off guard by it. I didn't know. I just knew that I had to go ahead and film my review for it. I wish I could have filmed this in better quality. I apologize, it's in 720, because this movie to me deserves my best. And I don't feel like I'm effectively articulating that enough, but I will be putting my review as many places as I can. Please make sure you share this review if you don't mind. I normally don't say that. I normally say just like, subscribe, hit that bell button, but you really should see this film. Like, I mean, I will say this as a small disclaimer. It is violent. It's not grotesque. It's not gory, but there's a lot of heavy scenes in this. Again, I kind of harping over it, but they do not hold any punches at all. And I appreciate the film truly for not holding anything back and truly putting us in an immersive state that really leaves me truly as a critic and as a previous director myself in awe. Like I'm floored. I think that I wish I could give it a 10, because there are certain things I was kind of like, oh, I don't know if this is necessarily needed, or with certain things from a pacing standpoint was kind of overlong. That's just nitpicking, like small little minuscule things. In my heart of hearts, like not only would this movie hit me emotionally, but it triggered me. And that's hard to do. That's really hard to actually do and keep me invested. Like I immediately wanted to go and read up director. And I am going to go and watch the movie Soulmate now. Like, I don't know where I'm going to find it, but I'm going to look it up and I'm going to definitely give you guys a review for that. So definitely go and check out this film, Better Days. I think you will not be disappointed. 9 out of 10, easily one of my favorite films so far this year, even though it technically came out in 2019 or 2020. I'm hoping and I'm rooting for it for Best International Film. I think my top pick for international right now was The Collective, one of the best documentaries I've ever seen. Minari, I think it's not in the international. It definitely would have been otherwise because it's in the Golden Globes, but this is really good. I'll talk to you guys later. Keep it locked. JVS, we ain't gonna stop.